Check out Corbin's new high-tech Warbird.
To find out about the Warbird, EasyRiders went down to visit Carl Morrow of Carl's Speed Shop in Santa Fe Springs, California, where we asked Carl how he got started in his 25-year business of making Harleys go fast.
Start with me buying a 1965 Sportster in June of 1965, and I went and raced my friends with it, and I lost. I didn't like that. So I went home and made some speed improvements that worked. I went back and I won, and I really liked that. And that was the beginning.
And you've been doing it ever since?
Been at it solid ever since, all Harley-Davidson.
The Warbird is a collaboration between Mike Corbin and his Wizard's Workshop of such talented companies as Performance Machine, Carl's Speed Shop, and others. The 5-piece fiberglass kit is designed for Harley-Davidson FXR models, though plans are underway for Warbird kits to fit other popular Harley models. The parts come primered and ready to paint. Carl showed us how it all comes together.
To build a Warbird, you don't need to modify the frame. We modify the frames only to put a bigger tire on the back so we can have traction with the big horsepower motors. And it has an aesthetic look to it if someone wants to go to that extent. Here you can see that here at Carl's Speed Shop, Andrew Peters, who does a fine job at fabrication on this, took about half of the frame rail here and made some flat gussets and welded them in and finished them to make clearance for the wide tire, which is a 7-inch tire. We use a Metzler. This Warbird kit basically takes about a full day of bolting on the brackets and aligning everything and extending your wires a little bit for the headlight in the front. And once you have the brackets on the front of the frame, one of the first things to put on would be what is called a chin spoiler. It would help a little if you just move right around the fork, it goes right into place. And what's nice about that chin spoiler is that you can see it hides up the cluttered mess of the front of the Harley frame, including the voltage regulator. And that just cleans it up and gives us some aerodynamics that fits well with the lines of the motorcycle and the overall picture. Now the next thing to put on would be the fairing. You notice as he's installing it, it slips right in as part of the tank, and it almost looks like it's close to being one piece. The chin spoiler, the fuel tank, and that small aerodynamic fairing fits right over the headlight, which is extended with the bracket that you get from Corbin that bolts on. The nice part about this particular fairing is that it is frame mounted and not fork mounted. Fork mounting aren't as stable in the wind as frame mounted fairings. So the next item to put on would be the rear seat section, which bolts on to the front where the gas tank mounts with the 2 bolts. Has a nice little cutout, as you can see, where the top shocks are. It could be a little bit easier to install the rear bolts if you had the rear wheel removed, but that's such the case with even a stock motorcycle. The next will be the front fender. It has 4 bolts, and the inserts are in the fender itself. They are built right into the fiberglass, and they go on just like basically a stock fender. All right, last but not least, the Velcro attached seat slips on. Presto, there's your Warbird.
Carl's personal Warbird features his own special combination of Go Fast products. He installed a Carl Speed Shop CM612 cam and his own specially designed 54mm billet carburetor, which will be available to the public in the summer of '95. Carl's Warbird also features the unique CDI magneto ignition and TrueFlow cylinder heads. Put all this together and it spells pure rush.
We had found out that the Illusion Motorcycle Company had challenged us through our sponsors that he was having a shootout and challenging us to race him at Bakersfield. So I called him up and I asked him if we were invited. And he said, well, yeah, if you got a street bike, but he had the rules set with AMRA where he could have 114-inch everything, and any participants could only have stock engine cases and stock Harley heads rework. So we immediately put an 88-incher together using the 1984 engine cases that came with this Warbird, originally, and put that motor together, and met his challenge at Bakersfield, which we won. And we won at Doug Morrow again riding the bike, my son. Ran a 11:17, 119 mile an hour to his losing 11:27, 117 with his professional motorcycle rider, Lee Schertz.
With all this technology, have you gone as fast on two wheels as you want to go?
Yes, in 1973, I ran 193 mile an hour at Bonneville myself. And there was early cravings that I had in younger years where I could never go fast enough. And quite a few years ago, I have found out that I could build a motorcycle go way faster than I want to ride. But that's not saying it for my son. He wants to go faster.